Tennessee beats Oklahoma 25-15 to welcome Oklahoma to the SEC. Give me some of your takeaways out of this one, Alan.
Well, the score really says it all. I mean, 25-15, but don't let that fool you. It was 22-3 going into that fourth quarter.
Yeah,
I
that score
mean,
does not indicate
Tennessee's
the depth
offense
of the game
and
at all.
defense were controlling all the phases of that game. They really
Yeah.
were. Nico is a force to be reckoned with that
Total
football.
domination.
I mean, I don't want to butcher his last name because it is a little bit of a complicated one, but I do feel like Nico. Yeah, exactly. I mean, dude had 13 of 21 passing yards. Pass completions. Excuse me, and 100. I think it was 194 yards, if I'm not mistaken.
Not too great.
And 1 touchdown. I mean, second win over a ranked opponent. Tennessee is what we believe them to be. They deserve that number 6 spot that they had, and now number 5.
Tennessee jumped up to number 5?
Well, in the power rankings they did. I don't know about the AP and coaches poll, but in a way, I kind of, look, man, we're talking about the same team that beat my team in a national championship. I don't have any nice words to say, but I mean, honestly, they're a force to be reckoned with. They are a threat in the SEC. Nico is a Heisman watch list candidate, if you ask me.
Yes, he is.
They just played lights out football. And like I said, that score pretty much just tells you what kind of game it was going into that fourth quarter. And Brent Venables kind of tried to muster up some things, changing quarterbacks.
Horrible
from what I've heard.
Oklahoma.
Oh, yeah. It was terrible offensive outing for Oklahoma. It didn't look like Oklahoma football at all to me.
No.
Not what we're used to anyway. Especially from Stoops and then Riley and then now Venables,
Yeah. Big shoes to fill when a guy like Lincoln Riley leaves, bro.
Exactly.
Major shoes.
And like I said, I just think the better team won in that situation, second-ranked opponent victory, and I think we could see more to come out of Tennessee this season, honestly.
Yeah. Second, who was the first-ranked opponent that they beat? Am I missing something? Because they didn't have much of a schedule coming in. They had Kent State. They had, I think, like Tennessee Tech. I think that's just the first. Let me check their schedule because I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
You're good, bro. No worries.
I'm pretty sure they beat 2 ranked opponents, but I'm not sure.
Yes, when they played NC State. You're absolutely correct, brother. I forgot. They blew the damn doors off NC State. NC State was only 10 of the 13 points that Tennessee had allowed walking into the game against Oklahoma.
My whole point was this was a hell of a SEC debut for Nico.
Yeah.
I mean,
best
heck of a debut. And a lot of people will be like, oh, you can't really call it that because, Oklahoma's just settling into the SEC rhythm. And I get that argument. But at the same time, Texas is fit right in. So, and that's their arch nemesis. So that's like comparing Alabama and Auburn. They're both SEC schools at the end of the day. So, like I said, I think the best is yet to come for that young man in that offense.
Yeah. Nico played one of his worst games, probably will be one of his worst games of the season, and they still were able to win. And it was a big test for Nico Iamaleava. First career road start, first SEC game of the year. I really like Nico at quarterback. I mean, 6'6", 330 pounds, quick on his feet, but he doesn't depend on his legs. He's got a good arm. He can throw strikes. He's young, so he's got plenty to learn. But I think being with Josh Heupel and in that Tennessee Volunteer, just community and what this program has been over the past years with a Joe Milton, with a Hendon Hooker, I don't see why it'll be any different for success when it comes to Nico Iamaleava. And when you look at how he... Say again? You're kind of muffled.
Coach Heupel for beating his alma mater.
Yeah. If you would just put your... I think you might just set your phone down on something. It was kind of muffled.
Oh, no, my bad.
No, you're good. I could see you talking, but I could tell it was muffled. No worries, though. For Nico being on the road, first career road start, you're playing a ranked opponent. You're in Oklahoma, first SEC game of the year. I think he played, decent considering that Oklahoma does have a decent defense, and Nico did turn the ball over twice. Again, one of the worst games he'll possibly play all year, and they won on the road. Now you have Oklahoma being welcome to the SEC in one of their, in this one on their home turf, sporting a great defense and going against the number one offense in the country. Again, we knew that Tennessee had put up 191 points and only given up 13. NC State having 10 of those. But before we really get into it about Tennessee, Oklahoma's got a problem. Some people are going to say it's a quarterback problem. Some people are going to say it's an offense problem. I kind of view it as a combination of both, more leaning on the offensive problem. Jackson Arnold, bench for the true freshman, and Michael Hawkins, that just shows that Oklahoma is still adjusting to the SEC because the talent curve when you step over is major. We know what the SEC is. We've talked about it plenty of times before. But I knew it was going to be rough when Jackson Arnold's first downfield throw was a horrible interception right into Tennessee's hands.
Oh, yeah.
He went 7 for 16 with 54 yards and 3 turnovers. Now, again, the entire offense was bad. I mean, the schemes, the play calling, the fundamentals. Neither quarterback really could have done well. And Brent Venables is going to be in the spotlight after this one just because, like we talked about last year, well, I know it wasn't specifically you on the show, but people, if you've watched, Colorado versus Colorado State, all the amount of penalties that were in that game, you're either coaching it or condoning it. So with this type of offense at Oklahoma, under Brent Venables, you're either coaching or condoning this at this point. Yeah. And just to kind of give a spectacle of a play that really reflected how busted this offense is looking. First of all, the O-line looks weak. There's no run game. You're basically throwing a backwards pass on an RPO, which is really just a modified triple option, with the wide receiver standing behind the quarterback. And Tennessee knew this, real collegiate simpleton type offense when it came about because they're running this triple option type of scheme. They got one guy on the quarterback, one guy on the running back, and one guy possibly guarding the pass, which is a wide receiver. So there's really no reads to make. And Jackson Arnold just couldn't get it done. Obviously, you have Michael Hawkins come in, and he's really playing in the same scheme. They're just having him run the football now because you're down 22-3, and they tried running the football. They have him passing the football now. They tried running with Jackson Arnold, and it just wasn't working, but they kept trying, and it was just very, very ugly. And then you're down by too much, so again, you have to have the true freshman come in and start throwing the ball all over the yard. But Tennessee defensive line, man, they're playing no games. I mean, a safety in this one, all over the quarterbacks with pressure all night. Tennessee's defensive line is very astounding. They were showing out, finally gave up a touchdown after not doing so in their first 15 quarters. But again, shout out to that Oklahoma defense. Tennessee didn't come easy onto points either. Outside of the strike to McCoy from Nico for the touchdown earlier in the game, that was just an absolute sniper of a shot. Field goals, a safety, and a hard-fought 1-yard touchdown run. Field goals. Oh, yeah, is how Tennessee got their points. Now, I'm still going to give hats off for a top 15 matchup. Second-ranked win. I forgot that NC State was ranked for that short amount of time. They're on the road in their first SEC game of the year against a great defense, and they come out with a win when their star quarterback doesn't play well. Shout out Josh Heupel, man. Shout out to Tennessee. Some people want to declare Tennessee as national title contenders right now. I'm not there yet. I don't really care about who they played before this game, and this game showed them. This game showed that Tennessee, against other competition, you're going to see them play not down to their competition, but they didn't really have anybody coming forward. Yeah, you could say they played the ranked team in NC State, but they blew the doors off of them. And they were on the road in that one, too.
You and I both know that Norman, Oklahoma is not an easy place to play. It's a very hostile environment.
Not at all. Very hostile environment, It's not an easy place to play at all. And the NC State game was not on the road. That was actually a neutral site game, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you're right. I think you're correct there.
Yeah, I think that because with this one being...
It was a kickoff game, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a kickoff game. It was a kickoff game. But yeah, great game between Tennessee and Oklahoma, honestly. I mean, maybe not so much of a great game, but a lot of good takeaways from it. You learn something about Tennessee. You have some questions about Oklahoma.